right. Got the family here in Minnesota, visiting some friends, staying on their farm. Just love it. So great. Got another deep question for you to think about. In your spare time, whatever free time that you have or extra time, do you seek to be inspired or entertained? I have a theory that what we do with our spare time sets the trajectory for our life much more than what we do in the times that we have to be like at work, or if you're a student, if you have to be just doing your studies and working for that degree. It's what we do in our spare time where we have more choice in the matter that really sets the trajectory for our life. So think about that a little bit. Do you seek to be inspired or entertained with what you do in your spare time? And I'm gonna come back in a day or two and talk a little bit more about it. Good morning. Well, I'm back home now, sitting in our little multi-purpose room here, and wanted to follow up on that question that I threw out there about entertainment versus inspiration. Thank you all for your comments. That was a lot of fun. My beautiful mother-in-law, Dee, made the point that oftentimes entertainment can be inspiring, and so you get in both at the same time, and I completely agree with that. What would be interesting to talk about is generational differences as far as what we go to for entertainment. A lot of times entertainment can be inspiring, and that's fantastic. But one of the things that I think is different generationally is a lot of the things we go to now for entertainment is kind of scrolling, reels and shorts and that kind of thing, and it can be very numbing. So we're not getting that inspirational value that you would maybe get if you dress up and go out to a show and you're watching some performers and they're doing amazing things, whether it's dance or performance of some kind, drama. We don't necessarily get out and do that kind of stuff nearly as much. And so we're getting to the end of our day, whatever our day looks like, and picking up the phone and kind of scrolling. And that can be very, like I said, very numbing. And that's why I really wanted to ask the question, because there's also a difference, not only a difference between entertainment and inspiration, but there's a difference between entertainment and refreshment. And a lot of times what our souls need is refreshment, but we don't think about that difference. So we go to the easy thing, the habitual thing, and try to just shut off our brains because maybe the stress of the day, trauma, whatever it is, and we end up in a place of just getting numbed out. And sometimes that can just be by grabbing a drink, and there's nothing wrong with a glass of wine every now and then, or a beer, whatever, from my perspective. But if we go to those things, whether it's that or looking at our phones or whatever, as a way of just numbing ourselves out, then there's the danger of just going to that habitually and not really giving our souls what it actually needs, which is refreshment from the day, maybe a decompressing of the day. It has the illusion of being kind of decompressing, but it's really just numbing us out in many cases. So, and sometimes it's deeper than just decompressing. Sometimes it's actually processing and getting stuff out that we experienced throughout the day that was very hard, maybe even traumatic, maybe hurtful. If we aren't careful to just take a breath and ask, what does my soul need right now? Then we may never deal with those things. And those build up over time. They can cause a lot, even physical health issues. Stress is crazy the way it manifests on a physical level in our bodies. And sometimes we don't even know it's there. I remember I went through a season of life like that where I was experiencing this crazy back pain. And I'm like, what the heck is going on with all this back pain and all this stuff? And it felt like radiating through from the front all the way to the back, but mostly in the back. And I ended up having to cut out all caffeine and all dairy for a season of my life. But what we realized was it was all stress related. If you look back at that season of my life, I just started a business, and my wife had just given birth to our firstborn, and I didn't even think about it, but I was immensely stressed with all these new responsibilities. So I didn't take time to process that properly, to work my way through it, and it started to manifest in different ways physically for me. So stress is a thing for sure that we need to be careful about. You can't totally avoid it. I don't think you can just avoid stress completely, but when it's there, to deal with properly, and that takes time. And sometimes it's more than just flipping on the TV at the end of the day and then, okay, now my stress is gone and I'm ready to tackle the next day. Sometimes it takes a little bit more than that. So I think it's important for us to think about what we do with our spare time, and also not just dealing with kind of the hard stuff, but where do you want to go? What is it that you want to be learning about? What is it that you want to accomplish? And that's why I was saying there's something about what we do with our spare time when we have options, more options about what to do, that sets the trajectory for our life. Because it's like, we also need to think about that. So what do I want to do? Because, hey, I'm whatever age, I got all this time ahead of me. And if I don't take little baby steps each day towards some goal, whatever it is, then I'm never going to end up in a place that I want to be in, that may be different from here. If we just sit back and, entertain ourselves and get distracted from life, then where are we actually going? And just a warning to all of us, we can be distracted out of our life's purpose if we're not careful. We can distract ourselves so much so that we don't do the things that we were put here on this planet to do. Distraction is that dangerous. So I think we need to be really careful about distraction. We can be distracted all the way to hell, not to drop a heavy on this thing, but we can be distracted all the way to hell and never discover the purpose of who God is and how he's created us and his redemptive purpose in our lives. Literal hell, or just the hell of a mediocre life. So anyway, yes, it's important. So I encourage us all to be inspired. Now, I also want to say, it's a little bit much to think we're going to live in this state of frenzied inspiration all the time. So I'm totally with you as far as, hey, you know what? Sometimes you do need to just chill out and catch your breath and turn on something and kind of shut your brain off. I do that for sure. Just be careful about doing that habitually all the time and not taking it on intentionally. Let's be intentional about how we use our time. Even when it's just our entertainment time and our downtime, let's be intentional about it. My wife is awesome. She encouraged me, and when I started to get a little bit more involved in social media here recently, she's like, just don't be a consumer, be a contributor. I'm like, babe, that's really good. Yeah, because I can get sucked in that real rat hole. Some of them are hilarious, entertaining, and you can get sucked in. There's no doubt about it. So be a contributor. If you're going to be on social media, be more of a contributor than you are a consumer. Put it that way. And sometimes just get inspired enough to get away from social media. Do something like a hobby or something that is actually refreshing to your soul. All right, so that's enough for now. See you guys on the next deep question.